Minnie and her husband Joel lived off the land as much as their lifestyle would allow. Aside from growing their own fruits and vegetables in their lush garden, they also fished in the lakes and sea nearby to put delicious food on the table. Everything they ate was homegrown, and they loved showing their kids basic hunting and gathering skills. For Minnie and Joel, their grow-what-you-eat lifestyle wasn't a chore for them. Instead, it was a pleasant, relaxing hobby that let them spend quality time with their kids and each other. But on this fateful day's fishing haul, the couple caught something that changed everything. But before we continue, smash the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss our upcoming stories. Bowfin, also known as mudpike or even trash fish, aren't always a welcome catch for fishermen. But if someone knew how to cook them properly, they could make quite a tasty meal. Luckily for the couple, they knew how to cook them, so when they caught a few bowfin, they knew exactly what to do with them. Joel reeled in their hard-earned catch, and they returned home, freezing the extras and leaving 2 fish out for dinner. Minnie placed them in the sink to clean, something she'd done hundreds of times before. It was her least favorite part of the process, though she preferred it to buying processed meats from the store. She removed the head and began to open the fish when she felt something unusual, a hard lump in the middle of its body. It wasn't eggs, but what could it be? Fish are known to sometimes eat strange things, so she opened up the fish and carefully took out the insides. She had no idea what she might find, but when something shiny came into view, she gasped. Minnie stared at her hands. The delicate gold links formed into a necklace with an anchor pendant on the end. This was unbelievable. How did this little swimmer eat such a thing? Suddenly, the flabbergasted wife felt something strange along the fish again. The necklace already raised so many questions, but the little fish still had more to offer. She grabbed it again and took out the rest of the guts. She traced her figure down along the insides until she spotted where the bump was. But as soon as she dug her fingers in, something terrifying happened. Minnie put her finger over the lump and felt something move. She screamed in surprise and disgust and jumped back, away from the counter. Her scream echoed through the house, alarming Joel, who suddenly leaped to her side. His eyes popped open as he took in the inexplicable scene that lay before him. Minnie's heart raced. Her lungs felt like they would never catch up. "What's happening?" her husband asked, looking at the fish. Minnie steadied herself and slowly reached out her hand. She pointed at the fish. "How is that possible?" she shrieked. The long piece of meat curled up like it was a live fish, flopping around for air on a dry dock. It was moving! The head was in the sink and the rest of the body parts were on the cutting board. How was this even possible? Minnie wondered if it had something to do with whatever was hiding inside the lump. Was the thing inside the lump making the fish move? Before she was going to touch that thing again, she wanted to understand what she was dealing with. Minnie put her treasure hunt on hold and ran to her phone. While her husband filmed the phenomenon, she immediately pulled up a search engine and scoured the internet for answers. She drew a sigh of relief when she found that fish moving after they're dead is actually quite common. And the cause is a very common cooking ingredient: salt. Even after a fish dies, some cells in the body can still react to stimuli. In this case, it was sodium. The scientific answer had a lot of complicated ideas about sodium and potassium ions reacting to neurons firing as well as electrical signals. This chain reaction can cause muscles to contract and release for a short period of time. Minnie giggled with relief as her husband played with the fish. But not only one question remained. What else was hiding inside the fish? As Minnie approached the fish again, her husband saw the necklace and asked her about it. When she described to him what happened, he was speechless. Then he felt exactly what she did. He stepped back, letting her continue with her strange discovery. As she opened the fish, small round objects rolled out, one after another. Minnie stared, stunned, at the handful of tiny, shiny balls. She and Joel picked one up to inspect it, turning it in the light. Joel's eyes widened as realization hit. Pearls. Real pearls. Minnie was speechless, watching as he rubbed one against his teeth to confirm. His expression said it all. They were genuine. If you ever need to differentiate between a real or fake pearl, the best way to do it is to rub it against your teeth. A real pearl will feel gritty against your teeth, almost as if you're rubbing sandpaper against them. A fake or imitation pearl will feel smooth. But how did it get in the fish? Bowfish are known for not being the pickiest of eaters. In fact, they'll eat anything that moves. This fish must have had a liking for shiny things after eating an oyster and mussel or two. Fortunately for the couple, the jewelry found in the fish was in pristine condition, and the pearls, well, one of those could sell for $300 to $1,500. The couple uploaded their video of the moving fish and posted about their incredible find on social media. It didn't take long for comments to come pouring in. Most were shocked, and a few even accused them of faking the entire thing. It got so bad that they started losing a lot of followers on Instagram. They were shocked to see that some of them included their closest churchmates and relatives, but two other users pointed out something interesting. The moving of the limp body didn't just happen to fish. Frogs and squids could sometimes do the same thing. It didn't mean that every fish that came out of the water would do this, or have hidden treasure inside. But it was still an amazing thing to witness. Nature was truly astounding. But did they sell their find? Joel and Minnie faced a lot of criticism online at first for not trying to find the real owner of the gold necklace. But they tried to describe to their friends that it was impossible to find the real owner. The necklace could have fallen anywhere in the water system around the area that the fish would have commuted around. And there was also another problem. There was no telling how long the necklace could have been living underwater before the fish grabbed it. For all anyone knew, it could have been years or decades. Now, one would think that this was the end of their amazing discovery. But over the next few weeks, something nagged at Minnie. They had put some fish in the freezer as well. Would there be anything interesting in those as well? Minnie might have felt foolish, rummaging around in the freezer like a child on a treasure hunt. However, the previous discovery had already been amazing. So, why not have a peek? She sliced open the vacuum-sealed pack, stuck the frozen block of fish into a bowl, and waited for them to defrost. Joel stopped cutting the garden tomatoes he had picked for the afternoon's salad. He looked over and raised an eyebrow. You don't actually think there's more? The fishy siblings didn't do the disturbing death dance like the other fillet. She slid the knife along the belly and poked her fingers inside, hoping to feel something other than squishy guts. Nothing. It was a normal fish, just like the hundreds they had caught before. But there were 4 more to go, and she pounced on them like a gambling addict with a pile of fresh scratch cards. Little did they know the mystery that awaited them. But it was on the 5th fish that her knife hit something solid. Joel's eyes went as wide as dinner plates when Minnie pulled out another piece of gold, but this one wasn't a necklace. It was a thick gold ring, like something a man would wear. Minnie leaned against the counter. Her head was already dizzy to the point of pulling her to the floor. This wasn't just a shiny new find, because as she looked closer, an astounding clue appeared. With the necklace and pearls, there was no way of knowing who the treasures belonged to. But as Minnie wiped away the icky film, the inside revealed an engraving, 2 names and a date. This was the breakthrough they needed. The adventure wasn't over. It might not have been much, but the new details were far more than what they had started with. Joel pulled out his computer and frantically looked for wedding announcements around the date on the ring. Minnie did the same. There was no way she could sit back and do nothing. The entire thing was like finding a needle in 100 haystacks. It wasn't until their 6th cup of coffee did something finally spark their hope again. James and Madeline Jeffords. Joel's excitement nearly made Minnie jump. The name engraved inside the ring had to belong to its owners. A quick online search led them to a social media page filled with photos of grandkids and lighthearted jokes, but no mention of a lost wedding band. Maybe it had been missing for years. Minnie's hands trembled as she sent a message to Madeline. The ticking clock grew louder as they waited, staring at the screen, hoping for a reply. Minutes stretched into hours, and still nothing came as the moon climbed high above. The kids slept soundly in their beds, while Joel snored like a chainsaw in his Barcalounger. Minnie's head dipped towards the table over and over as she willed herself to stay awake. Finally, she heard the ding they had been longing for. Yes, we lost a wedding band. But that was years ago. Who is this? Before they could move forward, both Minnie and her husband had made one simple rule. She introduced herself, mentioning that their family were fishing fanatics. They had stumbled across the ring, but could the person or people on the other end describe it accurately? They weren't about to accidentally give someone else's wedding memento to a complete stranger. The dots appeared again, and the next message made Minnie want to cry. They described it perfectly, right down to the use of Jimmy instead of James. They had found the owner of the ring, but the best part was yet to come. The family piled into their minivan and made the 3-hour trip north to where the couple was waiting. As they pulled into the driveway, Minnie could feel the tears build. An old man and woman stood on the porch, holding hands, their faces bright with excitement. It was an unbelievable series of events that had connected two families over many years and miles. The couple had been taking a walk along a pier one day. Madeline wasn't sure how, but a small pouch of jewelry had fallen out of her purse, things she had wanted to take to the jeweler to get cleaned. It must have been taken by the waves and washed away. Minnie and Joel's eyes turned wide as the couple showed them photos of the wedding bands and a gold necklace with an anchor pendant. Both sides couldn't hold back the tears. It was fate, pure fate. But the old couple was about to do something extra special. They insisted Minnie keep the necklace as a thank you for returning their long-lost ring, a small token to remember this unbelievable encounter. Even after a cup of tea and then returning home, Minnie and Joel's smiles didn't fade. But this wasn't the first time a fish has been found sporting a wedding band. Losing one of your personal items is annoying, but losing an item that's sentimental and irreplaceable is even worse. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss amazing tales like this one.